In today's episode of How to Master Your Business English Skills, I'm gonna tell you about how to learn and progress on your own. My name is Katarzyna Janda and I help ambitious professionals develop further their language skills, especially in the business context. First of all, today I'm gonna tell you about how to pick materials on your own so as to avoid chaos. Then I'll tell you a little bit about how to learn vocabulary and how to develop speaking when you are studying on your own. And finally, if it's possible to remain motivated and achieve your goals. Many learners of English want to speak and they think that speaking is the most important skill and they should concentrate only on speaking, and at the same time they neglect other skills that they should master before they become fluent speakers. Now, if you want to speak on any subject, you need some input. You need to know what to talk about and how to talk about it. So first of all, you need to pick the materials which will provide you with this input with the language vocabulary on a given subject. As we are talking here about business English learning, this input should be and must be associated with business. That's why choosing materials is crucial, is vital, because the materials will provide you with the vocabulary in the right context. Now, how to choose materials from many different sources? Well, it might not be easy and there are loads of them online, but the thing is that you don't need them all. You need those subjects which are strictly related to your area of expertise or such subjects which you will find useful when having a conversation in English. Actually, everyone has some idea and can actually predict what kind of context they can find themselves in. That's why you need to choose the content which is strictly related to your industry, to your everyday situations. There are a couple of tips which I'd like to share with you about the content and how to pick it. The content that you choose to study should be, first of all, relevant. This is what I have just said. It must be related to the subject of your interest. The next thing, it must be interesting. So if you find an article, start reading it, and you get bored with it quickly, just leave it, put it aside and choose a different one. Because if it's not interesting to you, if the content is not interesting enough, then you will associate learning English with something which is boring, which is not the case. Because language learning can be very interesting to you, but the content that you pick can be simply boring. So the idea is choose the content which is interesting. I can recommend TED Talks. They are always interesting, and you can also pick the one which is strictly related to your subject of interest. The content that you decide to work with shouldn't be either too difficult or too easy for you. If something is too easy, naturally you are not developing, your language skills are not developing, and you are just stuck at the same level. And I can hear from many people that they've been learning English for such a long time and they are still at the same level. Well, that could be the case because they choose the content, they choose articles, videos, which they can read and understand very, very easily. Then their skills are not developing further. So the content that you pick for you need to be a little bit challenging, but it cannot be too challenging for you, because when something is too difficult and you feel completely lost and overwhelmed by it, it is simply demotivating. And if you want your content to provide you with some added value, with some information, with some knowledge that you haven't had before, pick the content which presents some novelties, some new facts, some groundbreaking discoveries. Then it'll equip you with some knowledge which you can share in a conversation, for example, during small talk when you don't know what to talk about. Finally, when reading in English or when watching a presentation or a video or a film, it should leave you with some reflection on a given point so that you can formulate your opinion and express your opinion, especially after reading an article. Why not formulate an opinion about a given subject? Now let's move on to our next point, how to practice on your own, what to do to progress without any help. Naturally, you need to develop the 4 language skills. These are reading, listening, speaking, and writing. As for listening and reading, it's not a very difficult thing to practice those because it's enough to find an article or a video, read it or watch it, and you are already developing your skills further. When it comes to speaking, however, people usually think that when they are listening or reading, they are not developing their speaking skills. Well, partially that's true, because if you want to develop your speaking skills, you must speak. But on the other hand, when you listen to the English language a lot, remember words in a specific context, and later on, in a natural way, you'll imitate the pronunciation. So listening helps to develop your speaking skills. However, if you want to develop speaking, you must speak. And a good idea is simply to record your own speech and then listen to it, trying to find some areas for improvement. Remember, new words and new phrases won't get stuck in your mind unless you revise them. If you want to remember something for a long time, if you want a word or a phrase to get to your long-term memory, you need to come back to the same words and phrases and revise them. Otherwise, they will get forgotten with time. So, in order to get good practice of new vocabulary, the best idea is to create your own sentences about your own experience, to formulate opinions using the new words and phrases, and even write down your sentences as examples to come back to and revise. After some time, you will naturally link a given word or a phrase to your own experience, and it'll be extremely easy for you to use them later on when a given situation arises. How to get motivated? Well, first and foremost, if you notice your own progress, your motivation will increase. So, if you find yourself in which you have to use English, try to observe if you are making progress. Try to praise yourself for every single conversation that you have. Try to find something positive about it. Only when you appreciate your small successes will you be able to remain motivated. On the other hand, as already mentioned before, if you choose materials which genuinely interest you, then you will be ready to come back to this situation over and over again. By the situation, I mean, of course, an idea of watching something or reading something in English, because it will be linked to something nice that you experience in your free time. So, link learning English to your hobbies. If you find, and I'll emphasize it once again, if you find something which really interests you, it doesn't matter if it's in Polish or in English, you will be ready to come back to it again and again. Finally, you should always set the deadline whenever you want to learn something new. When you are developing, you need to specify your goals and you need to know what you want to achieve. Your goals should be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. If you set your goals like this and you measure your progress and you appreciate that you have learned so much over a given period of time, I'm sure that your motivation will boost. Thank you for watching the video. Write in the comments if you have any experience of learning English and business English on your own, and if you need any help, check out my new course, Business Class for Self-Study. See you again soon.